Hello and welcome to Watch Your Work. I am Kevin, joined by Kelsey. Hi, Kelsey.
Hello.
How are you doing this Tuesday?
We're doing well. We're hanging in there. It feels like summer, which always helps elevate the mood from like the base. I feel like the floor of my mood is always up a little higher when it's nice weather. So
Oh,
that's
seriously.
helpful. How are you? How are things?
I'm good. Despite the sweater, it is like still 95 degrees outside, and we're roasting this week, but we're
Yeah, warmer
we're
than us.
surviving. Yeah,
We've gotten
it's
very nice weather. I won't brag too much. I'll spare you the temperature details, but it's been very nice.
appreciate it. I am
Yeah,
my
it's been
worst
very nice.
self in heat, so we're trying to hold it together. We got friends with us. We got Finney, we got Rowdy Rod in Oregon saying hello. I know we got other friends set to join us throughout. Um, but my goodness, we are already over a third of the way through a WNBA season.
Yeah.
It
I wanna
feels
look up
like
to the last regular season game. I think it's the same weekend as our wedding. Um, so on my sort of registry and website, it has a countdown tracker at the top of it, and so there's a part of me that's like, "Oh, this is also a WNBA season countdown."
oh my
So we're
gosh,
like there's like 60 days left if that's, if that's accurate. I wanna
that's
see.
wild.
Yeah, I'll have to check. I think the WNBA season ends right around the same time. So,
Oh my gosh.
um,
Oh, there's like
yeah. Yeah, so I think it's a third of the way through?
mm-hmm. Yep,
Yeah.
we are just over a third. Most teams have played like it looks like 12 to like 14 games of a 36
Yeah. Yeah,
kind of game
13
season.
apiece.
So we are even approaching that 40 to 50% for some folks on
Yeah,
there.
wow.
It's just absolutely wild. These sort of like FIBA shortened seasons are just
Yeah.
it's a lot. It's a lot to get
Yeah, I'm
through.
also realizing more because I'm actively trying to watch more games this season than I think I probably ever have. I've always, like, tried to kinda pay attention, but now I'm like, "Let me watch stuff." It has been hard. I'm like, "I don't feel like I've watched enough games to be a third of the way through the season."
But in fairness, the WNBA makes it really hard to like sit and enjoy games.
They
They
make it hard.
if it's a 5 game slate, these
Yeah.
5 games are starting at the same time. It
I'm
is
also still prioritizing because the Celtics are in the finals.
mm,
I am prioritizing watching the Celtics for any of
fair,
those overlaps.
fair.
I don't know. I probably would have been the same were the Celtics not the team, one of the teams to make it, but it feels hard right now. But then I'm also like the summer feels hard to just sit down and watch games. I feel like they gotta switch the season up for me
I know.
specifically.
This is like the
I do
weather is not making
wonder.
it conducive, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I do wonder if they picked or if there was some sort of way to kind of promote it so that outdoor sports watching and WNBA became synonymous. That you're like people wake up super early to watch soccer, and
Did you
you're like,
see? Yeah.
people
Did
will
you?
do that, And so I wonder. I feel like there needs to be that kind of momentum
I would
behind the
absolutely
WNBA.
show up to an establishment at like 7 in the morning on a Sunday
Yeah,
to like if it was like WNBA involved, of course. But did you see that the Wisconsin men's and women's basketball team are playing games outdoors in November in like the Brewer Stadium in
that's
Milwaukee?
cool. I did
Yeah,
not see that.
they're pioneering outdoor basketball, so
That's
why not make it a
amazing.
thing? Yeah.
I wonder how that's gonna change their game.
Oh,
I would wonder if there's some sort of temperature factor to, like the bounce of the ball or, like
oh, for
like,
sure.
right in the
Like, how do they
pavement.
even
Like,
stay
how do you
inflated?
yeah, or do they
Yeah,
they'll probably put down a floor. They'll
I would
probably
think
make it
so.
as sort of, like, controlled as possible. I don't know if that's, like, a climate controlled environment or not, but
They put just like a large like dome bubble around it and just
everyone's also
really
seeing how I process things like this in real time. I immediately go to the logistical questions. I'm like, "What do they need to do to make sure that game's,
I mean,
as
it's like it's
consistent as an indoor
Wisconsin
game?"
in November. Like anything could happen.
Yeah.
It could be,
Yeah.
it could be, it could be full on blizzard, and we wouldn't even be able to see the
A
basket. Yeah,
blizzard basketball game,
would love
though,
it.
you're breaking barriers.
Yeah.
That is some next level stuff.
Oh, I would.
Would be very fun. Would be
Mhm.
very impressed.
I've never been more locked into the University of Wisconsin basketball than I will be on that particular day.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh,
yeah,
that's really cool.
I don't know. It should totally,
I
it should
like
totally
that.
happen.
I
Um,
immediately pictured I don't know if you've seen it yet, the new Adam Sandler basketball movie.
I haven't yet.
There's some outdoor scenes, some just like pickup games, kind of stuff. And so that's what I picture. And I was like, yeah, that
What's
movie's
your take
excellent.
on it? I've heard really good things about it.
We were halfway through and I was like, I think this is one of my favorite movies of all time.
Wow.
Like
basketball movie, just like
no, but I love a basketball movie. So like I think basketball movies I would probably put Space Jam up there too, and that's like not a great movie.
No.
Like objectively not a good movie, but like sentimentally a great.
Oh, absolutely.
It's up there in the top movies probably for me. But this is like it's a solid movie and it's a basketball movie. So like it checks a lot of boxes. Probably for me and for the people watching specifically. Yeah. So if you haven't seen it yet, definitely go do that. It was excellent.
Absolutely sold.
Excellent.
That sounds great to me.
Yeah.
Man, we've touched a lot of things and not a lot of WNBA. We had some things that we wanted to talk about. Like we teased like Sabrina's third quarter triple double. We've teased TV deals, Top Shot crafting. Do we just want to start by taking a look just around the W and what's happening, and then
let's see what's up
there? All right, I got some standings up. Let's see. And we can just kind of start talking.
Yeah, my tab's open too. I got some.
There we go. All right. So tonight we had, we have Minnesota and Seattle like playing at the moment. We just had Washington snap Phoenix's 3-game win streak with just a great performance from Shakira Austin, who just looks like the KG vet
she's so good
as a rookie. Like for everything that Ryan Howard does, just like otherworldly. Like Shakira Austin does so many small things. Well, it's fun. Yeah. Sorry, what were you gonna say?
No, I was trying to see. I was trying to pull that up on Google, and like the Google's, how they give you the whole section and you can click it, shows you everyone's stats and stuff. It's been so bad lately. Like it has all the wrong days. I asked Mike about Celtics games, and it had like the wrong dates with the wrong game number. So
it says it's still in the third quarter.
Yeah. So I was like, yeah, that game's over now, right?
Right. It's totally over.
I'm like, why does it say there's still so much time left? And it says the Storm Links haven't started, but it's 9:38. Like there's no reason this shouldn't be updated yet.
Let's go. Let's go to the source. Let's see what's up.
So
we got folks here. Sorry. Hey, SRA or SRJ. Woo. Hey, Orion. Welcome.
Hey guys. Yeah, but so outside of that, I don't have a ton of places other than Twitter, but then it's like finding, or going to certain, Twitter accounts. But there's no real, unless you have a suggestion, I don't know where else to go. I guess WNBA.com is one, but do they do live in-game stuff?
They don't do a ton of like live in-game. What I usually just have up is on my TV. I cast WNBA League Pass to like our room TV, and then I'll like pop open like the in-game apps and stuff if you watch like in a tablet or something like that, or on your phone. Or I have like the ESPN app does pretty good in-game tracking.
Okay, that's probably the one.
I have not found a good like browser source. Like Fox Sports actually has a tab for the WNBA. It's impossible to read. And then if you look at something like the WNBA site, even the box scores are just. This is like 6.
Although this WNBA one's not as bad.
Right.
There's more here than I thought there was. So that's nice. I like the Google one. I think it's super user friendly, but it's not updating. It's not consistent.
Shakira Austin.
Man.
6 for 11. 10 rebounds, 16 points. A steal, a block, like just looks so great. This evening, and like we got the classic Natasha Cloud performance where she scores like 6 points but has like a dozen assists.
She's been so good.
So good. It was a little bit closer than the score indicated, but like Washington is definitely a different team when Elena's on the floor. What else is happening tonight? It looked like look at that. Minnesota shorthanded Minnesota is holding their own against
Yeah,
the
that
Storm right
is
now.
the saddest news that Sylvia
Yeah.
Fowles is now injured in
Hmm.
her final season.
Yep.
Is there an update on, like, is she expected to be back at all? Like, what are
I've
we?
only heard out indefinitely. They've never said like out for the season, but this is like a cartilage issue in her knee, and it's a concern.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd love if she's like, hey, I'm only gonna play the number of games I missed. I'm gonna get one full season of retirement before I retire, but no more than that.
Right. Oh man.
Hopefully she doesn't miss too much, but yeah, I don't know how long that recovery is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, seriously. Yeah, that part's the bummer. What's not a bummer, though, is like we said, the New York Liberty are a completely different team than they were 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Both in personnel, and just in the way that they play, like bringing on like Maureen Johans from, oh my gosh, I already forgot which country, but from overseas. They made the AD trade to get a roster spot for her. Crystal Dangerfield, friend of the show, who's on a hardship contract, has played just so well.
Well, and I think having her too frees Sabrina up to do what she's good at. So having kind of that point guard and letting Sabrina just shoot is obviously been successful.
Yeah.
She just joined all-time triple-double leaders. I think the number of them is 2. So I do feel confident saying that Sabrina will probably beat that record.
It was already historic. Like it was the first triple-double that was completed in the third quarter, which if you look, I mean, just by WNBA standards, like that's only 30 minutes of basketball.
Was hers also sooner? Is she the youngest, or was someone else? I might be making that up. I thought maybe
she's the youngest.
I thought maybe that was something else that was historic about her triple-double. Yeah, she's doubled her points per game since I talked shit about her. So it's like Sabrina's overrated. I don't see it.
I
think she has more to do.
You are the catalyst for all things.
You know what? It's trending that way. Hopefully they're listening and they're taking the feedback and letting it fuel their performances. Very happy to be wrong in all of these scenarios, right? Like that's what you hope, that the people you feel disappointed by then surprise you and play really well. So very excited for Sabrina playing as well as she is.
Very hyped for that. Yep.
Yeah. She's playing great.
Someone else has been playing really well. Her Hoopsat featured her in their newsletter. Leading the league in win shares is Brianna Jones, and just one of my just personal favorite players to watch. Like I was someone who played, kind of post and kind of like mid range for like my entire high school JV-ish career. And just what she can do in the post, just the control that she has, like in her body, her footwork, ability to get to the basket, and catch in traffic. She's so underrated. She is not in the top 30 right now for WNBA All-Star votes, which is wild, considering her stats and the success of the team. But she is someone else who deserves a lot of those flowers.
I'm seeing here too. She's only started 3 games.
Yep.
She's played 14, so it's comparable. And her minutes, I mean, she's in like the 26.5 as the average. I wonder if people just aren't viewing her as a starter.
I could be. Yeah.
Like, I wonder if that's part of it. But yeah, that win share, it's pretty good.
I know. And I mean, when Jonquel Jones, last year's MVP, is on your team, and Alyssa Thomas, probably a top 3 vote getter for this year's MVP, at this point, is on your team, it's understandable to be kind of faded in that conversation. But man,
I wonder too if people get confused with 2 dominant Jones on the same team. They're like, yeah, Jones is playing great. And they're like, oh, it's Jonquel. So like public votes, maybe they don't know their stuff quite as well. She isn't.
Hold on. Time out. Not only did you talk trash to like players, but you were just like talking trash to the general electorate for like WNBA All-Star votes. Like they don't know the difference between Jonquel and
Well, no,
Brianna.
that I guess people who are voting for WNBA All Stars are probably somewhat locked
yeah.
in, at least to the WNBA. I'm sure they know the difference, and you can select different players.
Sure.
Like if they didn't know it before, then they figured it out in that moment.
Mm.
But if you're just hearing conversations about Jones,
totally.
I would think most people
They're assuming
specify.
Jonquel. Yeah.
But I think it's fair to assume that you're talking about Jonquel Jones, where Brianna Jones playing great, playing arguably better. I mean, I don't know. Like, I have not been impressed with Jonquel Jones. That has been stated. She played very well the games after that. But again, like, I just still think she could be doing more.
Right.
But when you sort the league by average points per game, Brianna Jones is number 20. She's in the top 20.
Mm-hmm.
Jonquel's 17. So like we're not that far off.
Right.
But yeah, like she's up there. She's playing great.
I think what you're saying is that it's just really difficult to keep up with the Joneses. And
How long were you waiting to make that joke?
it was in my head.
You were sitting on it. I
minutes. Yep.
really respect you like waiting for that moment. That was
an
excellent
I was going to work
delivery.
better in sort of that
was great.
silence a little bit. Yeah.
That was great.
Yeah,
well
patience
done.
paid off. Yeah,
well done.
Speaking of her friends at her hoop stats, they always
the
have
best.
a nice graphic for power rankings.
All the data.
Yeah,
they're so good.
Looks like change at the top is last week Vegas and Connecticut were tied. That shifted just a little bit, and then not a whole lot till you get to the bottom changed, and Liberty shot up 4 spots. Sparks and Lynx trickled down. Phoenix came up a bit with a small win streak. Do you think what we're looking at right now in these power rankings is? Do you think this is what we're looking at for a playoff field at the end of August?
How many make it? 10?
8. Yep.
8. Okay. I don't know. I think the Dream have had a relatively easy go so far. They played the Fever 3 times of those, and I think beat them every time, maybe. So that record doesn't feel as accurate to me. So I'm curious to see how the Dream do. That doesn't mean that they, won't kind of keep that spot. And it also the Dream, Liberty, and Mercury are all tied for 7. So like there's going to be a ton of movement there, I think. Seattle and Dallas are interesting. I feel like Dallas has really great games, but I don't know how consistent they've been. Same with Seattle, but Brianna Stewart's been playing really well. So I think if she kind of keeps that up and they're able to, it seems like Seattle's sort of figuring it out.
And they have to. I mean, they've had Sue Bird is out again with illness. Mercedes Russell is out. They're just keep having to figure it out with sort of this patchwork staff,
which I think long term is going to be really beneficial for them.
Absolutely.
I think it's going to give them a depth that is going to help them kind of as we get toward the end of the season and definitely in the playoffs. I can see it's really that 6, 7, 8 spot. I'm less sure about. A playoffs without the Mercury feels weird to me. And the Liberty, the Liberty are playing great. I just still don't know. I still don't know if they have it in them. Like they're expecting Sabrina to have, they're really relying on her. And I've said this before and I'll say it again. She needed, like for her to play at this level, she needed someone like Dangerfield to come in and support and help out. So like the point of, Sabrina's an all-star, but Sabrina's not the kind of all-star that can win you the game single-handedly. Right now it sort of feels like she is, but knowing that she's doing that because of the other pieces in place, like I think they're setting her up for success in a way that may allow her to get there. But if you're relying on Sabrina to get triple doubles and get close to triple doubles, that to me, I think you lose some pretty important games if that's the case. I don't know if she can sustain that for the rest of the season. I think that's a lot to ask of anyone. So
I absolutely agree.
Same with the Mercury. Like they're sort of leaning on DT. Skylar Diggins-Smith has been playing really well, and I think if the two of them are sort of firing in all cylinders, you have a little bit better of a shot. They have more pieces that I think could step up than the Liberty right now, but I think Phoenix ends up there. I would agree with you. I think just Phoenix needs something to change
with their bench. They need like a Kia
Mhm.
Nurse to come back eventually, and they need Sophie back because they're older starters that they are
Mhm.
running 35 minutes a game. I just don't think that's a recipe for them to like
No,
sneak into
it's
the
not
playoffs.
sustainable.
I would say like this from this like top 5 set. I think this is the top 5 that we
Yeah.
probably see.
Yeah.
I'm with you that I don't know that I foresee Atlanta kind of making it in that final round, despite just
Yeah.
the gains that they have had over what was just a disastrous year last year.
Yeah.
They've really made a good case for kind
I
of
would
their
love if they
future.
did. I mean, they have some great pieces. They're really fun, but I don't know if the strength of their schedule has given us an
Yeah.
accurate picture yet.
I would love if they didn't, and then they lottery luck finds their way, and they end up
I know, right?
with the Ali Boston and the Boston Howard combo. Can you imagine?
Oh my god. No, I
Dynasty.
cannot.
Yeah.
No, I cannot.
Oh, what's up, Mac Tag? We're glad that
Yeah.
you're here.
Hello.
Welcome. So we got to keep chugging. Both of us have some hard cutoffs for this
Yeah.
evening, mostly out of my own just personal energy level. But
Yeah.
I saw something came across my feed today, just from friends who are MLS fans. And I know we're talking MLS on a WNBA show, but I swear to God,
We'll
it
connect it.
fits. Yep, we'll connect it. It's coming full circle. Um, but let's bring this up here. Whoops, that's not the one that I wanted. Share screen, share window. Ta-da. Okay, there we go. So Apple and MLS announced an agreement today about a 10-year TV deal that's going to start next season for them. This basically puts all MLS games, MLS content on within the Apple universe on Apple TV, on the Apple TV app, on Apple TV Plus. Some things are going to be things that you can access for free. Some things are going to be behind sort of that Apple TV Plus subscription. Some things you're going to have like a specific Apple TV. I think you need to have in order to watch. But this is an agreement that was sort of there is still a lot not announced, but it sounds like sort of like the baseline price was something that was about like $200 million, and kind of in the ballpark of what MLS was asking for, with probably a whole lot of like subscription sharing and sort of a lot of other cost stuff that goes between MLS and Apple TV for this. The reason I think this is interesting is because within the last week, let's just look at the last week, you were watching WNBA games on Facebook,
Oh
on
my god.
Twitter, on League Pass,
Everywhere.
CBS Sportsnet, the CBS Network, on ABC, on ESPN, on ESPN2, on I mean, if you have any of the local Bally Sports, whatever,
Mhm.
that's the thing. And you were probably getting blackouts too, this is the thing
Yeah, you try to
too.
go to League Pass and you're like, I
Yeah,
still can't watch it.
you still can't watch it, and what some of my friends who are into MLS excited about with this is that they live in market for MLS teams, and there's no blackouts for these particular deals. And yeah, see,
Yeah.
I don't like watching teams on Facebook or Twitter
I don't
either.
like being on Facebook very much. Like that pulls me to Facebook is upsetting.
I'm already mad when I get there. Why do I
Like,
need to watch
no.
you?
I want to see my grandparents posting weird stuff
Oh no.
and giving security question answers under the guise of meme formats. Come on. Facebook's a trip.
Oh, wow. So this chain thing is asking for my mother's maiden name. That's why not share?
Yeah, it's like if
Um,
yeah, what was your first car?
hmm.
And I'm like, that's a security question.
So the reason that I bring this up, like I said, like you, what does the watching experience for the WNBA become better if it's on a central platform like this, or is the growth of the league something that you just do like the scatter shot, just the spray shot, and just put it on every platform possible?
I
Which which is the better user experience, and which would be like your thought for like where would you want to see growth?
humans like consistency.
Yeah.
routines are important. It's like
Mhm.
that's a thing.
Yep.
Put it in one place. You don't nobody's tied to a service provider.
Mhm.
They're tied to a team.
Yep.
Um, and if people start being tied to a service provider, that would be very funny. And so like have at it if you're like, I'm only gonna watch, you know,
Mhm.
ESPN, or I'm only gonna watch Apple TV. No, people have subscriptions to all of these different platforms. Like they'll go where they need to go to watch it. But how
Mhm.
nice if they're like, oh, it's in one place the whole time.
Mhm.
Like, yeah, I'll pay for that. Or like, yeah, I'll
Yep.
pay for that for the 3 months of the WNBA season. It's probably
Yep.
more than that, but I feel like it's like a 3 month thing, basically. Yeah, like I think that one place would be amazing. I think it's easier to market. I think it's easier, you start to associate them together, which is so smart for both.
Mhm.
Like
Yeah.
for Apple to then start to be associated with sports, and it's like a one-stop shop for a lot of stuff. Like
Mhm.
I think that's going to be really good, and it's cool that MLS is taking this on, because I can see Apple expanding to leagues like the WNBA.
Yep.
That does feel within the realm of possibility. So
Yeah.
yeah, I think that would be really, really cool.
I agree. I think so. Mike rags on Paramount Plus all the time, but rightfully so in a lot of cases. But I enjoy watching like the NWSL,
Hmm.
the women's soccer league, and like 90% of those games are on like Paramount Plus, and it's just so nice to know like it is a Saturday afternoon. I'm sure a game's on. I will just open up the app,
Yeah, I can go.
figure it
Yeah.
out right there. I the way that I get old man yelling at a cloud is when they start to introduce games on like Twitch or something else that I don't have like readily available, and
Hmm.
want the convenience of just like, well, why not put everything on
Yeah,
the thing I already have?
I would take a less sort of clean user experience if it's all in
Hmm.
one place, because
Yep.
I also think it's easier to give one company feedback. Like if
Yep.
everyone's like this problem with the WNBA games, and you're like, oh yeah, no, that problem's associated with one provider.
Hmm.
Whereas like it's hard to get mad at League Pass when I'm like most of the games aren't even on air, or it's
Yep.
like this place is airing this thing, and here's my complaint about this specific broadcast of WNBA games. It's like
Hmm.
it's in one spot. It's easier, I think, to generate solutions and make the user experience better. I'm sure, on the front end, it's probably not ideal, but someone like Apple, I trust to do a good job with that. So
Yeah, absolutely. I do think though, if it's at like one service, just think about like if you're in a town with like one cable service provider, like if there's a problem, how are you really going to get that one solved? Um,
yeah,
I agree that I would trust Apple to do it, probably more so than other providers to make it a good experience. But yeah, um, that's a good thought. And yeah, I think the marketing is like right there too for
yeah.
it to be in one place. You automatically are going to associate, over the next
Hmm.
decade, if something's happening on MLS you want to watch, where
Yeah,
you
it's
have to
Apple.
find
Yeah,
it. Yeah.
I'm imagining already the Apple commercials. It's like the Hulu has live sports. It's like Apple's, because I just imagine they're probably going to do something that sort of reminds you of that. Like, I feel like it'd be fun to play on that. I'm curious if they if they do, but I feel like that's sort of what will then be.
Oh, I
Uh,
absolutely see like a little
yeah, like
like
Apple
soccer
has
ball
live
with like a
sports.
bite
Like,
out of it. Yeah.
yeah, something.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Hmm.
That's great.
I don't think
Love
Apple is
that.
like actually known for like altering their logo like that at all, but hey, it would be a good first.
That would be fun.
Yeah.
That would be fun. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
it's great. I'm excited about it.
I agree. I don't know exactly when TV deals and things like that are up for the W, and
Is that with
God
the
knows.
collective bargaining agreement, or
I think it's separate
is
from
it okay?
the collective bargaining. Man, I hope so, because then we're kind of stuck with the system for the next 4 or 5 years,
Yeah.
which is
Oh, yeah,
still a
maybe
little bit wild.
I feel like it's sooner, but I don't,
Mhm.
yeah. Speaking of, I have a topic I'd like to discuss
Go for
now
it.
that we're
Let's
talking about
happen.
the collective bargaining agreement. This reminded me of this. I pulled it up today to see if I could find any of the rules on tampering,
Hmm.
because what I've noticed is Kelsey Plum sharing a lot of Haley Van Lith content, and I'm like, is this tampering?
Uh-huh.
And Haley Van Lith, I guess, on the USA 3x3 team, so it
Hmm.
makes sense that Plum's sharing it. I think it's fun, but I've seen multiple times of her sharing HBO Insta stuff.
Hmm.
I didn't see anything in the collective bargaining agreement about tampering specifically. When you Google WNBA tampering, it shows NBA tampering. There's no, and then I had to I forget what search term finally gave me a hit, and there was something on like Seattle tweeting about Sue Bird coming back before she had signed stuff. So Seattle got fined for tampering with Sue Bird, who obviously was staying with Seattle. So that's a funny one. But that's the only thing I could find. So I don't know if there's other examples of tampering that you know about that I have not been able to come across. And if you know anything about the rules there.
I know nothing about nothing for either of those things. I think it's absolutely funny that the one example you found was like Seattle getting fined for like celebrating Sue Bird coming back, because
there were tweets and they had to delete the tweets and they got fined a bunch of money. Maybe Yahoo search will have more.
That was absolutely the worst example of tampering.
No, it goes NBA tampering rules, and then it goes WNBA Seattle Storm. So they did pull up the WNBA one sooner than my last search. It's all the NBA tampering rules.
Oh, that is just
I can't find silly. Like there's clearly a W in front of that. Like, somebody tell me the rules for the WNBA. And if there aren't any, why isn't everybody sharing these NCAA women's stuff already? Like if Haley Van Lith goes, I don't know how the draft's going to work out, but like if HVL ends up in Las Vegas at some point, I'm going to be like, yeah, Kelsey Plum did that.
Yeah, she did that work. I think so much of that happens under like the umbrella, especially from like a player to player. So much of that happens under the umbrella of like kind of a women supporting women deal. I can absolutely see. Men
don't support men, so it has to be tampering.
No, absolutely no.
It does kind of feel like that's what they're doing with the rules. Like
it is.
I'm like, this feels like tampering. What do we do? What? I'm like, nobody's talking about this.
I just love you setting at your computer, like thinking you uncovered, like I'm getting like Pelican Brief.
The first time it happened, I was like, maybe they're like family friend. Like maybe, the basketball world knows each other. Like a lot of these NCAA women players have gone to Steph Curry's camps and Steph's like shouting them out and is like, yeah, great players. Or like they grew up down the street and like literally their families know each other. But really my examples of that is NBA player knowing future W players.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I don't follow a ton of like famous people on Instagram. Kelsey Plum is a fun follow. So I may have to just like add some more people and see what's popping up.
Well, now I remember like Paige Becker sitting like courtside at like Mystics games. And I'm like,
she's all over the place. I do follow Paige too. She's a fun follow.
I know. So wow. Now I'm gonna have to reframe like my entire perception on this.
And I think it's different. Like if the NCAA women's players are sharing stuff, like those are the people they look up to. But when the WNBA players are sharing, it's like a photo of Haley Van Lith in the USA 3x3. It's like the USA 3x3 Instagram account. So it's like sharing stuff from that account. But like, yeah, like go girl vibes from Kelsey Plum. Like imagine being in college and Kelsey Plum's like, you're great at basketball. Also like, yes, 3x3. Like, we connect on this. I'd be like, I want to play with her.
Yeah.
Put me on that team. How do I get on that team?
I would want to play like with them, like regardless. They're the aces. They are
obvious. Yeah.
They are the most dominant team in the league at the moment.
But like,
I would want every part of that.
But do you consider that tampering?
No.
Okay.
I think tampering is absurd anyway, especially like a player to player tampering. I am all for giving players every level of like empowerment, support.
I heard Mike chime in behind me saying no. I don't know. I feel like it's similar.
Oh, I think it's definitely
players share NCAA players stuff. I'm trying to think of an example of if I've ever seen an NBA player outside of like Giannis and his siblings who like aren't, I guess.
I feel like LeBron like quote tweets good dunks like all the time, or like shouts people out forever. I'm not the keenest on like NBA Twitter. But I feel like if you ask the question of like, do you think what she did meets some letter of the law of like NBA?
Well, I looked. It doesn't. It's not written. Nobody knows.
Nobody knows what the
Nobody
law is.
knows. I tried to find it so I could see if there was some either yes or no.
Right.
I think, of course, there's an argument to be made that it's not. Like she's just sharing an Instagram post. She's celebrating someone's talent. I have only seen her post about Hailey Van Lith. Is my point that like I don't see her doing this across the board. I see her like picking a favorite NCAA player and like
no, this would be like
promoting her game.
If we made the analog of like what Kelsey Plum is doing for a particular player and like tried to spread it out to like if an NBA player was doing the same thing, it would be a segment on like Take Line or like Hoop Collective of like, look at how much X NBA player or one NBA player is doing to like make a college player like a part of their team. If it was someone on I think if it was someone who's like draft rights were like not so like they were able to like come and sign for a team. So if it was like, let's say she's like did the same thing for like Miriam Johanns, who just came to the Liberty. Like if Vegas had those rights, or like if she was a free agent and like then like a week later she was in like a Aces uniform, you would be like, oh yeah, Kelsey Plum absolutely made that happen. I would celebrate it. It probably would have been tampering, but like, sure.
No, yeah, I think I don't think it would count from any sort of legal rule perspective.
Yeah.
But I look at it like this feels like borderline tamper. Like this could be.
I think it could be tampering. It could be like we're not talking about this because the players don't have maybe the sway in an organizan like.
Well, I also don't think they make enough money to fine them for tampering in the way that they fine the NBA players. So, and do you think stuff like that is good for the league? Like, I do think there's something positive about a WNBA player celebrating an NCAA women's player like that. I didn't know Hailey Van Lith was playing 3-on-3 basketball. I found that out from Kelsey Plum. Like, I do think there's something really cool about it and really important about it.
I think it's the same. Like, I think it's the same. I support any level of players using a platform, whether it's like Draymond Green in a podcast or like Kelsey Plum using an Instagram reach to like push and amp up like a player. I am all for it. Like, make us as irrelevant as possible by just like you're the one with the platform, you know what you're talking about. Like, you do your work in like celebrating the game, and I'm all in support of that.
Yeah, I feel like specifically Kelsey Plum and Hailey Van Lith are a fun combo too. They feel like similar players to me, and a similar sort of competitive spirit, which I like. So
for sure. Yeah.
I think it's fun, but I'm going to be real curious if she ends up.
I mean, she's one of the reasons I'm excited for the NCAA season coming up. I think she's going to be, I think she is just going to be a firecracker, like bottle rocket, bat out of hell kind of person, like from the moment gates open for the NCAA season. So like, I'm hyped for it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Bring it on, Louisville. Yeah. Even if
those are right.
Even them playing like indoors, as lame as that is.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Now that we have outdoor games.
We'll do that.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm gonna keep my eyes peeled on more of this. I'm also gonna have to keep an eye out on NBA players doing that. I do think now that I'm thinking of the NBA comparisons, I think because more of them do it, it doesn't feel as top of mind to me. But that's also my internet bubble I've created. So
Kelsey, did you have like a Diana Taurasi moment coming your way from a challenge reward?
No. I think I asked Mike to send me a moment. Is that the reward for that same challenge?
Yep.
And he sent it to me like an hour too late. Which we appreciate him sending it, but I wasn't like, this is when it ends. Just send it whenever. I wasn't paying attention.
Yeah. I think the last thing we're going to cover is just like, we're looking right now at like on the moment for the JAW crafting challenge reward.
Yeah.
500 folks completed it. You needed 4 rares, including 2 2
I would
Jaws.
like to see what each of those ones are worth. I wish they had that available.
We can see it farther
Or
down
they have it? Okay.
here, sort of what some of those different. I don't know that we can filter entirely.
So any of those.
Yeah, so see some of these throwdowns were like at Nurkic. This isn't like, these are like current pricing. This isn't like the challenge pricing, but yeah, they're not down by that much.
No, and so what was the most expensive one of those? I'm trying to see if value-wise it's worth it, because that I think is how I would make decisions on these.
Oh yeah,
Is if looking at some of the first ones. I imagine nobody's going to price it lower than what all of the moments they burned were worth together. But part of me is like, I don't think I'm going to participate in crafting.
Ooh, tell me why.
It stresses me out to burn moments like that.
Yeah.
I get it. Like, I think that's a cool way to do that. And if the reward you're going to get feels, you're like, yeah, I'd rather, it's sort of like feeling like trading these things in. But by burning them, you're making them more rare. I mean, some of them you're not, like, they're out of high mint count. So that's all obviously a consideration. But yeah, I don't know. I just feel like that moment then will be in the marketplace, and how much is it going to be worth? If they keep being priced pretty high like that and you have all the moments, then that could change my mind. But I don't know. I like having complete sets. I'd feel like I would need to double those moments to then not mess with my set. I feel like there's more value to me in the set completion. There's something I think really cool about that. So if it were a situation where I didn't have to sort of break up the set to do it, I probably would, but they're kind of designed so that I think you have to make those value calls. And right now I don't think the value is there for me, but we'll see.
If I had the, like, any season or series 2 throwdowns, like if I had Kevin Porter Jr., if I had like a Jalen Suggs, I would absolutely throw those away for like a under 500 or like an under 550 which I only put you up there for a second. Hi, JJL Smith, welcome. And I would be all about that. I think for this, like, if we're kind of extrapolate this out to like the WNBA archive set, I feel less thrilled about breaking up an entire set like that for a particular moment. Now,
I do, to your point, feel differently about WNBA crafting than NBA crafting. But then I'm like, I can't tell if more people are going to do the WNBA ones because they don't care about the sets as much as we might. And they're like, oh, this is going to be a more valuable thing if I just get rid of these other ones I don't care about as much. But I sort of fall the opposite way on that. And I'm probably going to regret that. But
it doesn't look like people's opinion, like people's thoughts have changed that much kind of in the last week. If they're speculating for what this archive crafting is going to look like, prices haven't really gone that wild with it. And I mean, it's only like $65 to like complete this set. So it's a good one to grab. It would be cool to hold the set. It would be cool to kind of, depending on the challenge reward, to do something else with it and buy up the rest of the set later. I don't know what I'm gonna do there.
I keep wanting to buy more stuff, but I don't want to spend any money on NBA Top Shot right now. I'm like, I probably need to sell stuff to do that, but then I gotta think about it.
And then selling stuff is its own deal, especially in this market. Like, wow. Kelsey, do you have anything else?
No, I think we covered everything.
I think that was my first time calling you Kels. Is that, like, I feel like it crossed a line?
No, that felt that most people do. I feel like strangers sometimes when they find out my name's Kelsey will call me Kels.
Strangers do that with Kev a lot, and I don't love it from strangers. It's not my favorite. Okay.
Yep.
You're a lot more chill about that than I am. Okay.
Yeah, feels very normal. I've been getting so many spam phone calls, and my watch was just telling me it was dying. And I was like, if I'm getting another spam phone call at 10:15 at night, I'm gonna lose my mind.
What is the deal with like Apple Watch being so aggressive when like you get to 10% power? I get 3 buzzes like every 5 minutes.
Yeah, it's like I'm dying. It's like, yeah, but you can come back to life.
Yeah. just relax, bud. I think if we're talking about our watches, that's probably a good time to like say it's good to wrap.
Go.
Yeah.
Sponsor us, Apple. We've talked about you a lot today.
We give you so much airtime, guys.
Yeah.
Keep finding us on Tuesday evenings out here. We're going to be talking more about kind of upcoming days that will be on playback. We're going to try to fit some of those days into our Tuesday schedule. Folks, don't forget to check your fantasy rosters and update those.
Good reminder.
I lost my first game in the Watch at Work League. Lost my first match in the Watch at Work League last week. We're still doing all right, but check those injuries, update your rosters.
I'm so bad at that. Good reminder.
Do you have any advice, Kelsey?
For
Anything,
ESPN?
life advice.
Get some sleep.
Yeah.
If you're not,
Drink
find
some water.
out the sweet spot of hours that work for you, and then make sure you get that many hours a night. Prioritize it. That is what I'm doing by being like, we gotta go early because I know I have to be up early tomorrow. So I'm like, this is how many hours I need, so I need to go to bed at this time.
Thanks for the flex. Yeah, that's what we need right now is the flex. After I talk about taking an L,
like a dream schedule. You played the Fever 3 times. We'll get you. We'll get you.
Touche.
We're only a third of the way through the season.
Yeah, it's long.
Plenty of time.
Season. Yep.
Plenty of time. But that's great. That's impressive. 5-0 is pretty good.
Better than me.
Pretty good. Oh, I'm awful. I think I'm like 1-4. Like it's bad. And I open the app like once every 4 weeks. It's like,
that's tough.
All right. Yeah. See what we can do. Yep.
Well, thanks for showing up, friends.
Yeah.
We'll see you next week. That's all I got.
Sweet. See you soon.
Yep.